So, I wanted to talk about a transition that I'm going through. Let's see. So I'm going through a transition right now and I've been called to go through this transition for a while now, but it's just now starting to realize that it is time for me to stop living off of my emotions. And typically, most of the time when I do some of the great things, quote unquote, that I do, I'm led by emotions. When I'm productive, I'm led by emotions. I feel good, right? And so I get things done. And so now I'm starting to feel led to just, it feels weird because I've had a certain attachment with my feelings because there's a connection between the vision that I have on what I'm supposed to do. I feel it, right? And so I know that is right. That is the correct feeling when it comes to those things that I'm to do. Now, when it comes to certain bad habits, some of the bad habits that I've had or that I had that I'm in the process of removing, I'm attached to them because of feeling, right? So when I feel like I've worked really hard, I feel like I want to take a break. And so certain things make me feel good, right? So it might be like eating, for example, or watching a good TV show or a movie that makes me laugh or get inspired or what have you. Or scroll Instagram, which is really, for me, while I get entertainment from it, it's more of like a pastime. And a lot of these habits, watching movies, I get enjoyment from them, but they're just habits. And so I partake when I feel like it, right? It's not like a man, you know what? It's not like a logical, man, you know what? I've been working a lot lately. Let me take a break. And then boom, I take a break. Boom, there you go. Wow, I think this guy is drunk. Sheesh. I'm gonna keep my distance. But yeah, anyway, so I personally I have felt scrupulized because I don't think the way that most people think. And so I feel like I've been kind of scrutinized, or at least my way of living has been kind of questioned because I'm more of like a feelings actor. Like I take action based upon my feelings, and they're not always cognitively logical. And so oftentimes I almost reject logical thoughts, even though most of the time I may take a mental process of what was said to me, and I'll run it through to see if does it make sense to me. But then at the end of the day, boom, I follow my feelings. This feels right, so I'm gonna go do that, right? And sometimes logic will affect my feelings, and then I will go with it, right? Like, oh, okay, that makes sense. You know what? I feel good about it. I feel good about the result of what may or may not come from said logical instructions, suggestions, etc. But because I also have in the back of my mind, I have this running kind of bit in the back of my mind on, I always feel like I'm being judged. Whether or not there's someone there, I think for whoever would be there to help me think logical. And so there's kind of this always looping judgment where I have that internalization of that logical voice to help me think more logically, right? And so sometimes I have doubt in my actions, and sometimes I don't always follow through the way I want. And let me see. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because of that voice inside me, which holds me back. I sometimes demonize, I'm not gonna say demonize, but sometimes I do look negatively upon people that do overthink. And so I sometimes reject looking at things as if it were quote unquote by the book. And so bring it down to now, right? So when I decide to take action now, or what I'm looking to achieve, is sort of a combination of checking in with how I feel, checking in with logic, maybe, and then, or you know what, skip logic, right? For me, this right now, this is all experimental. I'm aiming to try to figure out how to withdraw the most of the gift that I've been given. And I think that thinking too logically will be a hindrance towards my growth and development, because I'll start to think logically, and then I'll have to cross-reference every action I take with common logic, you know. And you know, it's funny, I'm sitting here and the voice that I was telling you about, the one that cross-referencing everything that I say, do, and think, is now checking, saying that I sound very silly or even stupid, right, when I say this, because it's almost like I'm telling myself not to think. And so there's been this like trifecta inside of me that's like, there's the absolute faithful part of me, and then there's the feelings part of me, which sometimes can go in any one of directions, and then there's the logical me. And the true me is the faithful me, right? So what I'm attempting to do is to throw logic out the window and throw feelings out the window, and just paying attention to faith and the spirit, right? Because I think what sometimes may feel like feelings is really the spirit talking to me. Because, you know, one time someone said this to me, or maybe I read an article or I watched a video, I can't remember what it said, but someone was talking about anxiety or fear, and that the feeling of fear or excitement, the feel of fear or anxiety is the same feelings that you get when you are excited or happy about something, or you know what I'm saying, or it's all the same. I was about to say anxious, but it's all the same thing, right? And so I think the same way when it comes to, sometimes I think I may mistake certain feelings or emotions with my connection with the Spirit, because now that I'm getting closer and closer to God and I'm starting to feel, but it's not a feeling of an emotion per se, it's a feeling of commotion, of connection. And so this is all way more complicated than I could really even put into words, but maybe someone that's smarter, or maybe this would give some sort of explanation to someone that may be trying to figure out what's going on. Maybe this could be helpful. I'm not sure. I don't know. Right now, I feel led to share this, and so I am. So, and it's funny I'm doing it while I'm driving, but it's funny, this goes on in my head silently when I am driving. So, I'm gonna take this one. Yep. Alright. So whether or not I'm verbalizing it or not, it's going on in my head. Always running through. But one thing that I have started to disconnect with is the future, right? I've always been forward thinking. And again, that's something else that doesn't sound like logical, to stop thinking forward, right? Thinking or predicting what may or may not happen may not seem like the most logical thing to do. That causes worry, it causes stress. It's like, am I doing the right thing now for 2-3 days, months, weeks, years, decades, etc.? Is this going to be the best option for me? And so I tend to overthink that, and I usually take throttled action towards whatever, or throttled action in general. And so moving forward from this point, to move to the next level, right? The next level of faith and my connection as I walk through life with God, is getting rid of emotion, right? So it's funny, I say feelings, but what I mean is emotions, because it's all complicated. It's too much, right? I think I'm trying to figure out things way past what I think I'm even qualified to, right? But get rid of emotions, and really the control of the emotions. While I think it's a good thing that I feel them, like I experience emotions, right? I'm a very strong feeler. I feel all my emotions, my anger, my excitement, my joy, my sadness, all of it. I feel it, and I'm grateful for it. What I'm disconnecting from is from its control over me. And I think that's also my goal with logic, right? As opposed to trying to use logic as a tool to control the outcome of my input, I'm using logic as a tool for my input, but not to control the output or the outcome. And so I think that's, and then I'm just leaning on faith, just trusting that I know what I know, and what I feel is there, allow myself to feel, but just trust, because there's certain things that I feel led to do, right? Okay, here we go. So there's certain things that I feel led to do, and it almost feels like a command. And so that's something that's leading me to do. Then I can take a peek in with knowledge, just a brief, just hey, what are the practical steps today, in this moment, in this 24 hours, that I can take towards said goal that I'm led to follow, right? And then boom, act, faith, and then that's it. But faith is the new controlling partner or controlling manager, like a company of sorts, right? What is it? Controlling partner. I stole that from the TV show Suits. Controlling manager, controlling partner, something like that. Anyway, but yeah. So, in a nutshell, and I'm really recapping for myself, is that moving forward from this time, I'm releasing the control that thinking logically and being led by my feelings, that those two no longer control me. And while those are always sort of factors that are in there, right? They're ingredients. The managing partner, that's the word I was looking for. The managing partner in me is and always will be faith. Trusting that God has given me the decisiveness and the vision, the resourcefulness, the creativity to get the job done. And I truthfully have faith in that. And so this next chapter is gonna be that. It's scary, I can say, because I'm not, it's a scary process, because it's going into the unknown. But God has given me so many examples that He's got my back, that it's just ridiculous. Some so small but significant, like was it yesterday? Yes, yesterday. So yesterday was it yesterday? today? Today's Saturday. So yeah, yesterday, when I went to sleep to wake up yesterday, I set my alarm. I set it for 7, right? And this has happened numerous times in my life during important meetings and things that I had to wake up for. My alarm, for some wild reason, I either didn't hear it or it didn't go off or whatever. And it's so frustrating. And usually nightly, whenever I set my alarm, I check it to make sure that the volume on the ringer is on, but my volume on the ringer for my alarm is on, but I want my ringer for my phone off. And there's a way to set it. There's a ringer for my phone to set it. And anyway, yesterday I had a job starting at 9:30. I set my alarm for 7 so that I could get ready. And I was just sleeping and sleeping and sleeping. And I was in such a restful sleep. And then I would just, every now and then, and this is another thing that I think that just God helps me with, is I have like some sort of internal clock where oftentimes I can almost sort of tell what time it is. And, you know, I mean, of course, there's other factors. There's the light coming from outside, etc., etc. But I was just all like, oh, crap, wait, oh, shoot, I should be up. And I started flipping out. I was all like, crap, and I run to go check the time. I leave my phone in the other room because I don't like the vibration, the emails that come in overnight. I don't like it. So I go to sleep with it in the other room. I run over there. It's only 7:30. Too often, from interviews to from other jobs, like plenty of jobs that I've had to do. I've had jobs where I was heading out of state, and I had to wake up to go and help them move. And I had to go pick up the truck and stuff like that. And still, the alarm didn't go off. I had to wake up. And God woke me up in just enough time to get ready, do everything. Of course, I got to do it quickly. But still, just enough time to get everything done. Get where I need to get on time. And then still be there. So God has been looking out for me time and time again. I've had times where I've been negative mid-month, negative in the hundreds, one time even in the 1,000 and up. And yet, by the end of the month, I had enough jobs come in so that I can not only bring my account up to full, but also bring my account up just enough to be able to pay rent. And it's like, and even right now, right? So, I've had quite a bit of jobs. So, to give you a breakdown of this month, right? Last month was really slow. And I had a few jobs to kind of keep me afloat. But I had to, it literally, I was like, man, crap, this is going to be the first month I'm not going to be able to pay rent. And I was like, I was sort of stressing, but I was weirdly calm. And so I went in the office. I was like, okay, look, this is going to be my first time being late on rent. And so I don't even remember what the fees are, etc., etc. I went to go talk to them, and they said something about like, you got to pay an eviction hold off deposit or some sort of like that. And so they essentially make me pay a fourth of my rent, which is only like, I think like a little under $400. And so that I can, and then they say once I pay that, then I'm not, then I won't have to pay my rent up until, I think it was the 20th, which was, I think, literally yesterday. Yeah, it was literally yesterday. And so, and meanwhile, my brother was in town, and I had enough money to spend with him, right? So we were still out doing some things, which really wasn't that logical, but I don't know. I didn't want him stressing, and then if he knew that I was struggling, then he would put extra pressure on me, which is a good thing. It's like, it's a supportive brother, but it's like the extra pressure, it just drives me crazy. And so I figured just to leave him in the dark. I knew God would take care of it, and he did. So after I paid that, maybe like a week or so later, jobs just started coming in. And so I was able to pay my back rent, and then jobs kept coming in, and I was able to pay my so now I have enough money to pay my rent, but, and I had that in my account, but because of the labor, I had to pay my guy like $900 in labor. But, and really immediate, so right now I have, I think it's like $166 or something like that in my account. And then I have like, in one account I have like $25, and in the other I have like $75. So all in all, I think I have, what is that? Like, we'll just say 150 plus the 75, 225 plus the 250, right? So, wait, is that right? That is right. Yeah, 250 and some change. Yeah. So that's what I have in my account right now, but I'm waiting on the deposit from the card process that the payment that I taken, that is like, I think it's like $2,700 or something like that. So that's gonna pay for rent and then some. And then soon here, I think on the 26th is when my biggest bill comes out, which is my what's that, COI? I don't know why I can't think of it, but it's the so that I can book my clients, and I don't know why I'm blanking on what that's called. But anyway, it's the it hosts my website, allows customers to book through it, and all that stuff. I don't know why I'm blanking on that. I've used that term thousands of times. Anyway, but yeah, this is how I know that God has my back. So, I just wanted to share this. I hope it was helpful. And, yeah, let's, for some reason, you know, God wants me to share this, and wants me to share this now. Because as I've said in other videos, that, for some reason, and this is really just a me thing, is that it feels so distant when I hear all these motivational talks and all this wisdom and what have you from people that are like, they have thousands of dollars in their bank account, They have all these businesses that they've created. They've, you know what I'm saying, they're freaking wealthy and all that crap. And like, while it means something, it's credited, but it seems so far. And I intentionally wanted to speak now before I have like some really nice setup. You know, maybe I have a backdrop. I'm not sitting here in a car that I'm actually renting and I'm returning tomorrow. And then I gotta fly to Ohio to get a free car from my family that is actually on its last leg. And I'm hoping that lasts for like a couple years. And you know, it's funny, right? It's like, you can see me smiling. It's like, I love challenges because it's like, I know it's temporary. You know what I'm saying? And I know I'm talking my ear off, but I love it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like, what will God do next? You know what I'm saying? It's sort of, yeah. I know that even if for whatever reason God chooses for me to stay in this cycle that I'm going through, where I got this up and then I got the down, where I'm back here base value, and maybe sometimes dip below, but most of the time I just come down to the same like little floating level where I only have a few $100s in the bank, and then it'll go back up and I have a few thousand and I'll make some investments or something like that. I don't know how long. I want it to end. I'm ready for it to end. I am very impatient for it to end, but at the same time, I think I'm now starting to understand, and I'm starting to get a sense of presentness, right? A presentness with it, where it's like, this is where I am. And this is where God wants me to be for the time being. That doesn't mean that it's going to be like this forever. And that gives me hope. And I know, especially because of the consistency of the vision that I've had, the vision of the greatness that I will achieve, has maintained consistency. While the clarity has been up and down, has been left to right, it's been consistent. And if God wanted to change that vision, right? If God wanted me to see things in a different way, or wanted me to dial things back, maybe I'm too far in the clouds, I think God would have removed those by now. I've at one point I rejected those thoughts. One point I wished I never had those thoughts. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. Hope this was helpful. Eventually, I'll get better at piecing things together and wording it together in a way that's easily received and easy to follow. I really can see how I am hard to follow for most people. I'm gonna say for most people, I'm probably a person that it's hard to follow, because sometimes I'm still figuring it out as I'm talking. And then I think of other things that I think should be included to amplify certain aspects of the statement, or so that when I make a punctuated statement, that it's amplified by more information or by more context. And so sometimes I ramble. I do. So thank you for those that are patient with me. Yeah. Have a good one.